College Park City Council, College Park, Maryland. We'll begin the meeting with the moment of silent meditation followed by Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight this will be led by Council Member Dr. Esters. In your meditation, please remember those community members or residents who will be out of SNAP benefits as early as November 1st, I believe. And some of us already started to get calls because they depend on them. And let's do everything we can as a community. Anything else? Let's start from my right. Councilmember Hernandez.
Councilmember Esters, I defer to her. She was first. She raised her hand.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to also acknowledge families in Jamaica dealing with Hurricane Melissa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Hernandez.
That was mine.
That was, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Seeing none, please join me in a moment of silent meditation. Councilmember Esters.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Be seated. We'll do the roll call, starting with Mr. Hernandez, District 1.
Present.
Mr. Hugh.
Present.
Dr. Esters.
Here.
Ms. Whitney.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Mitchell.
Present.
Ms. Mackey.
Present.
Mr. Ranker.
Present.
Councilmember Rigg is not here yet. Hopefully he will join soon. I'll do the announcement in the same order, starting with Councilmember Hernandez.
Good evening, College Parkers. We have only just a few more Hollywood Farmers Markets dates left in the season. We have a few more Saturdays coming up. It's open from 10 to 2 p.m. every Saturday. They're starting to take turkey orders, so please make sure to get out there and support some of those local vendors. I will also, so I met with Hollywood Elementary School, and they have a partnership, or they're going to have a really great event here on November 12th, and they need about 40 to 50 volunteers. So they've given me permission to kind of just blast it out wide. Through the generosity of Coca-Cola Consolidated, students of Hollywood Elementary School will receive a brand new pair of shoes and socks accompanied by a Hope Tote. Volunteers will be fitting the students with their new shoes and providing them an encouraging message. We invite anyone interested to please reach out. You can reach out directly to me, or you can reach out to Hollywood Elementary School. Happy to provide that information over. But this is going to be called the Samaritan Feet program, and it's, again, on November 12th from 8:15 to 12 p.m. at Hollywood Elementary School. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the announcement. Councilmember Hill.
Thank you. Yes, so I'd like to thank everybody who came out and supported and worked on projects for the Good Neighbor Day this past Saturday. It was a great success, and it's great to see projects like this happening in the community. This past Sunday was Northwest China's restaurant's 10 years anniversary. We had a nice little celebration and toast to their success and more years to come. And let's not forget to vote on Sunday and Tuesday.
Thank you. And Dr. Esters.
I'd like to acknowledge my colleagues, Councilmember Mackey as well as Councilmember Hugh, for their work on Good Neighbor Day. Excuse me, I was about to get the name wrong.
Councilmember Ranker as well.
Oh, and Ray Ranker as well, Councilmember Ranker, for their help with Good Neighbor Day. I was able to participate for a few moments at the Permaculture Garden in Berwyn, and I want to thank all the residents and individuals who came out to volunteer as well.
Thank you. It's a wonderful event. Councilmember Whitney.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure everyone knows that it's homecoming weekend for University of Maryland this weekend. So lots of things going on. Definitely prepare for a lot of, it's also Halloween, so there's going to be a lot of activity around the city and on campus. The Terp Carnival starts at 2 p.m. on Friday at McKeldin Mall, and it ends with fireworks, so don't be surprised if you hear that. Then the Terpsville Fan Fest, which is a very family-oriented kind of activity before every game. Home game this year, it starts at 12:30 p.m. This Saturday at Jones Hill House, and it'll be followed by the game at 3:30 p.m. versus Indiana. So go Terps.
Go Terps, right, exactly. Mayor Pro Tem Mitchell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Want to also give accolades to my colleagues for Good Neighbor Day. They did excellent jobs. I had an opportunity to visit 3 sites, and it was really amazing to see the students as well as the residents come together. I forgot my crocheting needle at College Park Woods Clubhouse, but it was a very fantastic event. On Sunday, the West College Park Woods Neighborhood Watch held a Fellowship Fall Festival, which was an excellent opportunity to meet new neighbors, and opportunity to gather and just to talk. And I want to say thank you to them, because every time they do the event, it's something, it's always increased to different activities to their current complement. And Mr. Mayor, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ms. Mackey?
Yes, I just want to thank all the people that worked from the University of Maryland, just putting Good Neighbor Day together. They worked tirelessly, and it couldn't have come together without their tireless work. We were able to collect a lot of food for people that have food insecurity, both in the city of College Park and on the campus. And I also want to give a real big shout out to those that helped with the crocheting project, that were making blankets for to give to various organizations. But it couldn't have come off without Miss Gail, with Rocio and Katie and Marianne teaching everyone how to make granny squares. And for the 2 sororities that were there, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated and Sigma Gamma Rho, and also the Student Service Learning group that's from the Honors College. We had a really big group, that, and people learned to crochet and made a lot of granny squares, which we're going to put into blankets, and they're actually very nice. And hopefully it will bless somebody, hopefully 2 people. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it was quite a large group, and thank you for your leadership. It's very nice, and everyone. Mr. Ranker?
I'll echo the Good Neighbor Day, and thanks for all the residents and the students who came out and made a big difference in our neighborhoods. Thank you. And to Department of Public Works, along with the arborist Dave Wigglesworth, who helped with one of our residents lead a tree planting over in College Park Estates in Yarrow. For our residents, I just want to make sure everybody knows that we have emergency assistance grants, and whether it's a small amount or a large amount, if you're coming upon a hardship, we've talked about SNAP benefits. We know the federal government shutdown and furloughs have affected a lot of folks. Please don't hesitate to reach out and apply for those funds. That's something that we increased this last year, knowing that there could be some issues, and we want to make sure that you have what you need to survive and thrive.
Thank you. Very timely announcement. Mr. Rigg, thanks for joining.
Thank you. I apologize for being late. I was running from a family event. One announcement I wanted to call to the attention of anybody who has children who are going to or have an interest in Parkdale High School is there's been an effort ongoing for several years now among students and parents at Parkdale High School to try to establish a parent-teacher association or a parent-teacher-student association. And there is a meeting coming up at Parkdale High School to discuss the foundation of a PTSO. For reasons that I don't fully understand, the school's been reluctant, but it seems like there's finally some forward motion on it. And that meeting is occurring at Parkdale High School on November 5th from 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. in the cafeteria. I can certainly send out information to anybody who might be interested. Thanks.
Yeah, that would be great if you could send to the council. Thank you so much for the announcement. Let's go to our student liaison, Mr. Desperado.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple exciting updates. Tomorrow, me and Amira are hosting the 2025 Candidate Forum. So we're super excited about that and that we're able to continue this tradition in partnership with the university. We'll be hosted in Thurgood Marshall Hall, and we've been partnering with various groups as well to get the word out about this event. So we're very excited to see the candidates, meet the candidates, ask them questions, and get to know them a little bit better. Beyond that as well, the Student Government Association is voting on a resolution to support the early release ordinance tomorrow, which is exciting as well. It's something that we're tracking, looking forward to seeing the result of. And then on a funny note, to our city manager, my dad is attending the same conference as you, so tell him I say hi.
Thank you. We are coming to him very soon. All right.
Good evening, everyone. I just have a few updates regarding our Student Liaison Advisory Council. For one, we sent out even more acceptances because we had a little bit more interest. So now we want to fully get into things and assign them more work. So we're going to have another meeting this Sunday with them so we can assign tasks and give a more structured format to how our meetings are going to go. And additionally, we've also have greater social media efforts. So we've been trying to be more consistent with creating graphics and posts. Right before this meeting, like 20 minutes before, we were filming a reel to advertise the candidate forum. So really hoping to see what comes of that.
Oh, pretty exciting. Thank you. All right, let's go to our city manager, Mr. Young. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. I just have a couple announcements tonight. The first one is our general election information. Our early voting will take place this Sunday, November 2nd, at Davis Hall, 9217 51st Avenue. Our polling hours will be from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Election Day is Tuesday, November 4th at City Hall in our community room on the first floor, located at 7401 Baltimore Avenue, between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Parking in the garage that day during the polling hours will be free. Then we have a long-awaited opening of the Wonder Food Concept at the corner of College and Baltimore Avenue, and that will be taking place there. Grand opening ribbon cutting ceremony will be Thursday, November the 6th, and it will start at 4:30 p.m. And we will have the first Wonder in Maryland, so everyone is invited to attend and take part. And then lastly, just a reminder to everyone that the City of College Park is hosting the Maryland Tourism Conference at the hotel November 17th through the 19th. Any businesses or residents that would like to participate, just please contact our Economic Development Office. And Nick, me and your dad did talk last night.
Enjoy the conference. Any question for Mr. Young? Mayor Pro Tem Mitchell and Mr. Hernandez. Go ahead, please.
Oh, okay. First off, big shout out to Councilmember Mackey for being the big recruiter on bringing in the tourism. That's huge for just a huge economic development boost. So thank you.
Thank you.
If I may, with the impending cancellation of SNAP and WIC, Mr. Young, as a result of the government shutdown, I know there's a lot of uncertainties and some logistical concerns, but I'm wondering, I talked to my colleagues ahead of this meeting, is there, or most of them, is there a way that we could potentially give you direction to see, I mean, it all depends on where we are with our city funding, to somehow build, I don't know, like some sort of surge funding to help and like support the anticipated demand that might happen. I envision a world where November 1st comes and goes, and there's families that don't have any SNAP or WIC benefits to use, and they obviously will rely on some of the local food distribution centers.
Mr. Young.
Yes, actually, Councilman Hernandez, thank you. We have started to see an increase in the applications to our emergency assistance fund, so that kind of gives me a little bit of information, mostly for At this point, it's been rental and mortgage assistance and food assistance. It's been pretty much where the need has been. I think we can weather through probably November with the existing funds we have for those funds. But if there's a desire by the council to provide some funding to some of our local nonprofits, food agencies, distribution agencies, all I'd really need from the council is a consensus and a dollar amount that you wish me to find within the existing budget. And I would work with our finance director to identify those, and then I would bring back an item to have the council ratify what we've been able to distribute based on your direction.
So would you need an agenda item for that, sir? Like, or just
I do not. I will bring back an agenda item to ratify everything at a future agenda. So it probably, I think we don't meet until the 15th or November or 12th of November.
12th of November.
12th of November.
Yeah. So I think that would be before the funds may run out.
No. So we have to. So I don't want to
Yeah.
mix up things. We have the existing funds which we increased, but we are seeing an uptick in the number of people applying for those funds. So that would be different than what we would have to set aside for assisting the agencies themselves, if that's what council desired.
Mr. Mayor, if I can just
Sure.
add for Councilman Hernandez, if you can work offline and bring up a proposal with a dollar amount, and that way we can then come back and have a discussion, and then.
On the November 12th agenda, we can approve it.
Correct. November 12th, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
I had a question.
Sure.
Excuse me, Mr. Young. I wanted to ask if there was a possibility that many of us are getting emails with resources for government workers, and it's a plethora of them. Is there a way to put it on the website, on one section of the website, all the resources that is easily found for individuals? Some people have commented that they see it in the weekly bulletin, but they would really appreciate it if they saw it in one section on the website, if possible.
I believe it is on our website.
I think so.
I'd have to ask Raina and them to kind of bump that to a more prominent
Yes.
place on our website, but I believe it's the same information that you see that comes out in the weekly bulletins, but we can find a place that's more prominent, perhaps on our webpage.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, and because we're approaching November 1st when the SNAP and WIC benefits may run out, will it be possible to make an announcement of our emergency funds in the next Monday's bulletin? It might be many of our community members might need that fund.
Yeah, we can do that. That's not a problem.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other question for Mr. Young? Thank you. Seeing none, let's do the acknowledgement, and we have one former city council member, and he's always with us. I'm so happy. Mr. Catlin, former District 2 city council member. Thank you for joining. I hope I'm not missing anybody else. Hopefully not. Thank you. So let's go to the proclamations. We have one proclamation, and that is the proclamation on National First Responders Day, October 28, 2025, and it reads as follows. Whereas first responders, including police officers, firefighters, EMTs, paramedics, 911 operators, and other emergency personnel serve as the first line of defense in times of crisis, disaster, and emergency. And whereas these dedicated men and women demonstrate extraordinary courage, selflessness, and commitment to the safety and well-being of our communities. And whereas first responders work tirelessly around the clock, often risking their own lives and to protect and assist others in moments of urgent need. And whereas the services provided by first responders are critical to saving lives, mitigating harm, and restoring order during emergencies. And whereas it is fitting to recognize and honor the bravery, sacrifice, and professionalism of all first responders who uphold public safety with unwavering dedication. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the City of College Park, Maryland, that October 28, 2025 is hereby designated as National First Responders Day. We urge all residents to join in honoring those heroes for their unwavering courage, commitment, and sacrifice in service to others. Their dedication to protecting and serving our community deserves our deepest gratitude and recognition. Proclaimed this 28th day of October 2025. Fazil Kabir, Mayor, City of College Park. With that, I want to recognize some of our first responders who are in the room and the police officers. And one of our colleagues as well. Thank you. Thank you for your service, and thank you everything you do, risking your own lives. Appreciate that. And I think we saw two firefighters. They had to respond. They had to respond. Here you go. That's what your life is. So thank you so much for everything you do. I will sign the proclamation and give it to you, I think, during the presentation, maybe. So just give us 5 minutes. All right, thank you. With that, let's go to amendments and approval of the agenda. I think there is one. Mr. Hill?
Yes, I'd like to pull 25G111 from consent and move it over to action.
Sure. Is there any preference? Can I discuss the first item in the action?
You can pick the first item.
So there will be 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So that this doesn't need a vote.
Dr. Kabir?
Yeah.
I also wonder, and I apologize for not arriving in advance to inquire with my colleagues, so there may not be an appetite for this, but I'm wondering if we can move 25-0-15, front yard fence height from 3 to 4 feet from action to consent.
Yes. Second.
You mean the ordinance,
Second.
right? 25-0-15. Okay.
If that's legally acceptable.
Does it?
Just introduction. Oh, it's just introduction. I apologize.
Yeah, it doesn't need a vote, so we want to spend the entire night discussing it. All right, so we're withdrawing it. Okay. All right. Any other amendment? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion.
May I move the agenda as amended?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? The agenda has been approved, and we have the agenda. Now we go to public comments on consent agenda and non-agenda items. Anyone in the room? Please come forward to the podium, state your name for the record, and if you're a resident of College Park, Mr. Catlin.
Thank you, Mayor Kabir. I'm Bob Catlin. I'm a longtime College Park resident from the Berwyn neighborhood. I'm co-president of the Berwyn District Civic Association. We have a couple things coming up in the neighborhood. On Friday, the November 7th and 8th and 9th, Holy Redeemer will have their annual Harvest Bazaar. It's a great event they've been doing for 50-plus years. The following weekend, on the Saturday, the 15th, Berwyn will have their annual bonfire in our community park. It's an event we've held every year since 1974, except for the COVID year. The past year or so, I've been giving you some historical tidbits about College Park history, basically from 85 to 2015. I've discussed 2 major projects recently that happened in the early 2000 timeframe, how IKEA came to be and how the tennis center came to be. And there was a third project going on about the same time that also involved a large tract of land. That was the Washington Post Printing Plant and Distribution Center. That was located in the northeast corner of Berwyn. Now it's called the Severn Building. In 1996, the Post decided they would expand their printing capabilities. They would go to color, and they would open a plant in Maryland. They hadn't had a plant in Maryland before. They were printing about 850,000 papers a day system-wide, and they decided it was time to build in Maryland and have color. So hard to find a site for it. They needed about a 20-acre site, and it had to have nearby access to the Beltway and to railroads because the Post used about 20 million pages a day of newsprint. You can't deliver 20 million pages a day of newsprint by truck. So they had to build a giant facility that would house a warehouse that had train access into it to drop off rail cars full of newsprint. So that was a very expensive and difficult and lengthy process. That building didn't open until 2001. And at that time, the Post circulation had just started to tail off. The internet was starting to have some impact, but it wasn't very large yet. But over the next few years, by 2009, the Washington Post printing of newspapers had dropped by 50%, and they closed the plant. And what happened? The University of Maryland quickly snapped it up for $12 million. The university had been looking for a place to put all of the support facilities that were located where the hotel is now and all that area around it that's vacant, that's proposed for development. They had wanted to clear that land, but they said they never had a place to put things. So they bought that monster plant, and they were able to fill it up within 2 or 3 years. So it was an interesting project. It gave us dividends before and after. And if it wasn't for that, I think the money from the project, the taxes they paid would have really made College Park a different place if we hadn't had the money. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that history. Anyone else wants to speak on non-agenda, consent agenda items? If you have joined online, you can raise your virtual hand. We'll allow you to speak. Seeing none, and we don't have any consent agenda items, so we'll go directly into two presentations. We have the first one. It's about the missing middle housing presentation, and this will be presented by Prince George's County Planning Department, Connor Klein, Karen Miro, and John Parks. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
Good evening. Thank you, members of the College Park.
If you could please come close to the mic.
Good evening. Thank you, members of the City College Park City Council. Sorry, tripped my words up there. Thank you for having us this evening. My name is Karen Miro, and together with John Parks, we're going to give our missing middle housing presentation to you. It's our introductory educational piece about what is missing middle housing and what it means for Prince George's County. The idea to bring missing middle housing to the neighborhood revitalization section began in 2020 with the idea of exploring new housing types. When we began our evaluation and initial development of the full scope, it became clear that our team had to take a comprehensive approach to the topic in order to make it effective and implementable. Our research has shown that it is critical to develop an affirmative missing middle housing program to respond to the housing needs of the county. We believe the Missing Middle Housing Program fits well within the neighborhood revitalization section, as housing is the foundation of a neighborhood and often the sustaining driver of revitalization and community strength. With this context, we'd like to present our understanding and initial findings of missing middle housing, while there's a need for a diversity of housing choice in Prince George's County, and our approach to expanding attainable housing options for the county's residents. Throughout this presentation, you'll hear several housing-specific terms. Many of them are used interchangeably. They are workforce or attainable housing, which means here in Prince George's County, housing that is affordable for households earning between $80,000 and $118,000. Affordability. When we talk about housing affordability, we are talking about housing that is affordable to whatever household's income may be. Affordable housing is housing built with provided government subsidies which carry certain income restrictions. Missing middle housing is referring to housing types that exist across a broad spectrum of design and form. These various types by nature fit seamlessly within the existing fabric of a neighborhood. These types are often seen in older, more urbanized neighborhoods built before the 1940s. This diagram demonstrates the diversity of missing middle housing types between single-family detached units and higher intensity multifamily buildings, shown in white on either ends of this barbell. Missing middle housing is called middle because the form, scale, and density are somewhere between single-family homes and high-rise apartment buildings. These types are called missing because in many communities modern zoning and development regulations have made them illegal to build in the United States since the 1940s. Middle can also refer to the price points of these housing types. They are affordable to middle-income residents who earn between 80 to 120% of the area median income. And that's the band that I just spoke of, $80,000 to $118,000. It's important to note that this is market rate housing that is more affordable to middle-income families. Missing middle housing types function best when located in a walkable context with access to amenities and services. These housing types can secure and promote a well-connected development pattern, which promotes walking and makes walking and biking easier, safer, and convenient, as well as advancing access to public transportation and supporting other infrastructure investments throughout an increased tax base. Housing costs are kept attainable by minimizing or reducing the need for a car. Typical parking standards for missing middle housing allow up to one off-street parking per unit where there's access to public transportation. These types are marketable to different audiences, particularly to the next generation of residents. Millennials and Gen Zs overwhelmingly prioritize walkability and access to amenities for their housing choices, exchanging square footage for shorter commutes and lively neighborhoods. These types also offer opportunities for single-person households and baby boomers who are looking to downsize. The form and design of each missing middle house will vary depending upon the form and scale of the local context, but all types share these same core characteristics. The height is generally 1 to 2.5 stories, and most types will have 2 to 9 units in a building. They have smaller footprints, and the units tend to be more compact, with the typical size being approximately 600 to 1,200 square feet. The smaller spaces are well-designed, comfortable, and usable. Smaller size units can help developers keep their costs down and attract a different market of buyers and renters to all neighborhoods. The most important characteristic of missing middle housing types is they have the same scale and form of a single-family home. These types can blend seamlessly into neighborhoods, and the density is perceived to be lower than it is. And some of the types that we're looking at are a side-by-side duplex in the upper left corner, another side-by-side in the middle, an 8-unit on the upper right, and the lower right was a single-family home converted into 4 apartments, and on the bottom right is another attached side-by-side duplex, and these are from all over the region in the U.S. This density comparison image highlights the uniqueness of missing middle housing. The residential properties share similar densities, but the scale and form of the building on the right may be more readily embraced by the community.
Go back one. There you go. Oh, wait. No, I'm sorry. Stop. Sorry. Do this.
Excuse us.
Apologies.
Great. On the left is a photo of Bel Air at Bowie, which is a Levittown built in Bowie, Maryland. This community was developed at a time when single-family zoning and investment had its greatest impact on the suburban boom that took place in the decades after World War II. Fueled by generous loans guaranteed by the FHA and the Veterans Administrations, Bel Air took the form of single-family homes on individual lots, the overwhelming choice of Americans moving to the suburbs. Developers catered to this preference, and with the encouragement and approval of the federal government, developers such as William Levitt explicitly barred people of color and some religions from buying into these subdivisions. This and other inequitable practices like redlining and restrictive covenants fostered long-lasting patterns of racial segregation and discrimination in the housing market, even after the Fair Housing Act of 1968. One of the legacies of this practice is white Americans built wealth through home ownership, while non-white households were systematically denied that opportunity. This history is one of the most significant contributors to the racial wealth gap. While these developments created affordable home ownerships and starter homes, for some, it set the stage for an inequitable housing landscape that endures today. In its Equity and Zoning Policy Guide, the American Planning Association recognizes how zoning regulations had a disproportionate exclusionary impact on communities throughout the United States. This occurred by intentionally segregating Americans by race and socioeconomic class. This occurred by intentionally eliminating all housing types except for two: large multifamily developments and single-family detached structures. Regulatory zoning in the United States has evolved, but not by much. It remains a barrier to missing middle types, as today's zoning and land use policies everywhere restrict them from being built in most areas of the country. Prince George's County is no exception. Currently, single-family zoning comprises 94% of residential development. While the new zoning code has provided added flexibility in the housing types allowed, it still may not support the diverse range of housing types that Prince George's County will need. Thank you. Although diverse housing types exist in older neighborhoods within the county, development regulations have largely prohibited the proliferation of missing middle housing types, an area where they would best be suited. This table illustrates the zoning districts that could potentially support missing middle housing. These areas that do not allow for the full spectrum of missing middle types will likely encourage more intense development than is greater than the house scale buildings we would like to hope to produce. You'll see that some zones allow for certain missing middle housing types, but within each zone there are overall issues regarding building height, limits, and open space requirement that exceed the house scale form, lot sizes and widths that are too large for typical missing middle housing infill, and the allowed density is too low to support missing middle housing. So now we're going to walk through a few trends that demonstrate the need for more missing middle housing in Prince George's County. John?
Yeah. Great, thank you so much, Karen. So this slide shows the average income needed for several different types of workers in the region. The red line shows the income needed to afford the median priced home in the county, which is over $420,000. The yellow line shows the income to afford median rent in the county, which is over $1,700. This table demonstrates that critical employees to the local and regional economy clearly do not earn enough to live in the county. Missing middle housing types provide housing opportunities for these crucial middle income earners, like teachers, firefighters, tradespeople, and other essential workers. In many cases, they may not be considered low income enough and will not qualify for subsidized housing, yet these workers may be unable to afford market rate housing opportunities in Prince George's County. One of the guiding principles of this initiative is to explore ways to facilitate an abundance of market rate attainable housing that provides a range of best fit options for these middle income workers. And this is a challenge because, as we all know, housing costs are going up. Housing is expensive. Many people are living in units that are actually more affordable than what they can technically afford. And this is due to other housing life costs, such as needing to pay for healthcare, food, education, things of that nature. And people may seek more attainable and affordable housing options. And because of this, this image demonstrates a downward market pressure on lower income households due to insufficient housing at all income categories. Rents and home prices have been rising faster than income in the US for the past 2 decades. For For many households, increasing housing costs mean there is less to spend on other necessities, as I just mentioned, including food, education, healthcare, and retirement savings. Particularly for younger Americans, high costs may be preventing them from living on their own or forming new households entirely. While the magnitude of these effects resonate for so many, housing cost burden is felt inequitably and are particularly severe for households of color, lower and middle income households, and renters. And a household is considered cost burdened if it is paying more than 30% of its total income on housing-related expenses, including mortgages and rent, utilities, taxes, and insurance. In Prince George's County, 72% of our renters are considered cost burden, and over a third of homeowners are as well. And one interesting trend to note is that in the few years since we've started collecting data, the share of renter and homeowner cost-burdened households has grown from 54% and 29% respectively. Housing cost burden impacts people's lives. It impacts their choices on where to live, how long they must commute, and even has a direct effect on human health. This slide right here demonstrates that household arrangements for Americans are changing over time, yet our housing stock and new supply is not reflecting those changes as well. In Prince George's County, we have a substantial amount of single-family homes, both detached residences or attached townhomes. We have large-scale multi-unit opportunities, but largely only in high-intensity apartment buildings or condominiums. And over the last decade, the number of new single-family units has significantly outpaced other types of development. What's missing is missing middle housing, smaller buildings with 2 to 9 units located in structures that fit into the scale and form of existing neighborhoods. These missing units are often less expensive, and their market value for purchase or rent can be lower due to decreased construction costs. The lack of missing middle housing inventory and new construction of all housing types drives up housing costs for everyone in the county. Plan Prince George's 2035 approved general plan recognizes this challenge. It says that Prince George's County is not prepared to meet the housing preferences of many of its seniors and young professionals, and this impairs our economic competitiveness in the region. And simply put, we are facing a deficit of housing options that meet the needs of our residents. And we're going to go into some of the benefits of missing middle housing as well. Missing middle housing types have a multitude of economic benefits. These types offer a pathway to home ownership for a greater number of people. Government-backed home loans can be used to purchase these types with as little as a 3.5% down payment. And in many cases, the owner of a missing middle housing type will occupy 1 unit while the rental income of the remaining units supports the mortgage payment. Missing middle housing types offer an opportunity for wealth building and can lead to more stable and economically resilient communities. Well-designed missing middle buildings blend seamlessly into the existing neighborhood fabric, unifying the streetscape of low-rise residential neighborhoods, and can transition between single-family and higher-intensity mixed-use and transit corridors. Missing middle housing also supports mixed-income communities, which are important to the economic stability of a community. Researchers at the Brookings Institute found that retail sales correlated with walkability, and for each increase in the walkability scale of a neighborhood, a store in that neighborhood was likely to see an upwards of an 80% gain in retail sales. And thriving businesses, in turn, increase the job availability in those neighborhoods. And this is a quote by Ellen Dunham Jones in her book, Retrofitting Suburbia, that describes how different types of households have more public presence throughout a day, and there are more eyes on the street and where walking is appealing and safe. So I'll turn it over to Karen to talk a little bit about precedent initiatives that we've studied as a part of this.
Thanks, John. So we're fortunate to have an extensive and still growing body of work to look at as we develop our own initiative. Municipalities, planners, realtors, economists, and architects from around the country have been exploring the concept of missing middle housing, particularly as a way to address the housing affordability crisis. AARP is also notably become an advocate for missing middle housing for seniors. One of the common themes among much of this research, again, has been that Missing middle housing is all about price, size, and location. In order for people to reduce their cost of living while still living in areas of choice, smaller units in walkable neighborhoods with access to transit, jobs, and basic amenities are needed. These things are crucial not just for the resident, but also for the overall health of our cities and regions, improving the quality of life, growing the tax base, and enhancing their overall sustainability, resilience, and competitiveness. Each approach we've studied is a little different and uniquely tailored to the local and regional conditions that present, but most of them include studies, guides, toolkits, and pattern books, and are all data-driven and largely based around three main elements: research in terms of housing surveys and needs assessments, design in terms of housing types and pattern books, and regulatory in terms of land use and zoning reforms. The crucial first step of this effort was to draft a mission statement to help guide the development and implementation of a missing middle housing program. And it reads as follows: the Prince George's County Planning Department will explore the development of a greater diversity of housing types to meet the needs of Prince George's County's growing and diverse population. New small to medium-scaled house types help respond to the need for attainable housing options and can contribute to a more character-rich, walkable neighborhoods that appeal to a broad range of residents. We will engage partners and communities to understand the ways greater housing choices can address community needs, aligned with reinvestment goals, and identify strategies to support their implementation. We have an evolving website and will continue to provide outreach opportunities and hear from you to share what we're learning and work together to create a better and more inclusive housing future. In light of this need, the Planning Department has begun a housing study to explore strategies to achieve a greater diversity of attainable market rate housing options to meet the needs of Prince Georgians' growing and diverse population. Together with Opticos Design and our local partners at AECOM, the firm that, Opticos has pioneered the missing middle housing concept and has assisted other jurisdictions across the nations. The Planning Department will engage the communities to gather perspectives on housing, which will address the needs of an increasing population, drive economic opportunities, enrich the unique identities of our diverse communities, and support sustainable growth. Through robust public engagement activities and events, planners and stakeholders will identify how more diverse housing can meet community needs and align with the county's long-term goals. We aim to make this initiative and other housing projects accessible to officials, members of the public, and all stakeholders and residents. This is a collaborative effort, and our team is conducting proactive research. This is really a paradigm shift that urges all of us, elected officials and policymakers, planners, architects, and builders, to rethink the way housing is designed, located, regulated, and developed. So many of us want and need more diverse housing choices in walkable neighborhoods, homes that are attainable, sustainable, and thoughtfully designed. It's important to keep in mind that this missing middle housing initiative of this nature and in this context hasn't been done here before, and we have the opportunity to lead the way here. A successful missing middle housing initiative in Prince George's County will not only have lasting benefits for our communities, but can make us more resilient in the face of changing demographics and housing preferences, an expanding economy, and climate change. So I want to thank you all again for inviting us. We will continue to work with you and our planning partners, Ms. Bader and Mr. Nunez. Also want to recognize our Deputy Director, James Hunt, is here tonight. So I want to again thank you. Please scan the QR code. That will take you to our website. You can take the housing survey. We'd like to hear your input on your housing needs and thoughts, as well as learn some other information that we have posted there as well as our contact information is on the housing website. So please feel free to contact John or I with any housing-related questions, suggestions, or requests you may have. With that, we'd like to close and thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you so much. I'm sure there could be a couple of questions if we could stay.
Sure.
A few minutes. Yeah, first of all, the presentation was fantastic. Lots of work went into it. It's very high quality.
Thank you.
Thank you for putting this together. My question, I don't think there is any doubt that College Park has a lack of missing middle type of housing. We have quite a few high-rise apartments, and we have traditional single-family homes, neighborhoods.
Both ends of the barbell, right? Yeah.
But we don't have something in the middle, which is missing. I'm very happy that you will be engaging the community and starting with our planning staff, which we are very happy with them, in the coming weeks or months maybe. What type of engagement, can you tell us a little bit, engagement that will be? Are you coming to the community, getting a survey? I know you put together a survey, which is also nice.
We are doing a combination of online, such as the housing survey, where some people can just choose to elect to, fill out the housing survey and submit it anonymously if they prefer to do that. We will be hosting discussion events. Right now, we are beginning to go to municipalities. Many town councils have requested the housing presentation. They've asked us to go on ride-alongs with them throughout their communities to identify their housing needs and priorities so that we can respond to those, work them into the study, which we anticipate to be final in March of 2026. After that, we will embark on a pattern book, which will provide different patterns or types of each different missing middle housing types, those being 2 types of duplexes, the side-by-side and the stacked duplex, 1 unit on top of each other, a triplex, a quadplex, that's a small 4-unit building, bungalow courts, and live-work units. We'll also include an integrated accessory dwelling unit because I know, having worked with the Seniors Committee here in College Park after the AARP livability designation, we heard loud and clear that accessory dwelling units are one way that seniors are hoping to stay in College Park as they retire.
Well, yeah, we hope them to stay with us as well. So thank you. Looks like the end product you'll be having is a pattern book with the different types of middle housing, and from our side, from planning side, and from budgeting perspective, what can I do from our side, like in terms of planning on our side?
Well, we would like to have your support in the initiative to bring more diverse housing choices to the county. Namely, that will require the department to entertain possibly some regulatory changes. As we talked about in the slideshow, there is not much room within our current zoning classification that allows the various different types at the right fit, in terms of development standards, fitting on the lot with, and I don't want to go into setbacks and all that stuff that's going to make your eyes roll in the back of your head, but to get the right fit so that we're not using too little of the land, we're not using too much of the land, that it fits within the local neighborhood context and is well designed and reflects and embraces the quality of development there.
Karen, if I may add, as the advocates for the community of College Park, I think we would appreciate the insights of what you're seeing and what the community is asking for, especially in the pattern book stage. What are the designs and aesthetics that we can include in that architectural catalog that maintains the neighborhood context that so many residents of College Park come to love, and just information that you all are seeing at the ground level, again, as I said, as the advocates for the community. I think that would be greatly appreciated throughout the entirety of this process. And then as well, we will be having a number of engagement activities. So we will definitely keep you all apprised of any events that we have to distribute to the residents of College Park.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's very helpful. Appreciate that. All right, let me see. I think there's such excitement on the desk. Can I start from, I said I missed, who was the first? Dr. Esters?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And then.
Thank you so much for your presentation. I think what you've shared this evening reinforces some of the conversations we've already had, especially about the challenge with young professionals and seniors especially. This is the second presentation that we've seen on missing middle, and it's exciting to hear And I realize it's going to take some time for all of this to happen. So to understand that you're collecting data, speaking with people, creating a pattern book. If you had your druthers right now, at what point would we see more housing being developed around the county? And is this something that you're trying to make happen by 2035, which is where I saw that date referenced, that year?
That's a great question. Thank you. I think we can definitely make some of those regulatory changes, if possible, happen well before then, so that we can actually enable them to be built. Right now, we don't have anything that permits them to be built. So that would be the first step to overcome. After that, we are aware that there is a development community that can respond. Do you want to talk about the healthy?
To reinforce a point that was said, that Karen mentioned earlier, we as the planning department offer our recommendations, and those improvements to allow these types are approved by the proper elected body. So I think that's where we would appreciate, all of your support in being able to uplift those recommendations to that approving body. Regarding the developer community, we have had, lengthy conversations and focus groups around this topic with members of the development community who are willing and able to be participants and collaborators on producing these types for the county. There's, as we've talked about in the presentation, and I'm sure you've heard from residents, there is a need for more attainable housing options that meet the preferences of the existing preferences and changing preferences of county residents. So the demand is there, but we are unable to provide that supply due to these regulatory obstacles. So I think the developer community is ready to work on this with the county and to produce these types. We just need your all's help to be able to uplift those recommendations to that approving body to allow these types to be built.
Thank you. So I see this queue, Ms. Whitney, then Mr. Hugh, Mr. Mitchell, Mr. Ray, and Mr. Rick. Oh, you're not? No, you're good. That's good to hear. It turns out you're there. Thank you, Ms. Whitney.
Okay, thank you. This is very exciting. I really like the presentation. I have a couple questions. One, was there any discussion of this? Like, the county completely revamped its zoning for the entire county, so it seems kind of not fortuitous that this discussion maybe started after that, or did it? That's the one question, is like, how was that considered at that point? Secondly, is there any consideration of any kind of, incentives for this? To help incentivize developers to build this? And finally, has scattered site housing been considered? Basically, a developer buying a bunch of different sites that aren't on the same plot of land, but making it easier for them to develop them all at the same time and go through the permitting process once.
Right. So to start with your incentive question, some easy non-monetary incentives that could be considered are fast-track permitting, scaling the fees, the permit fees for the square footage of the housing footprint. What were some of the other ones we discussed with the consultants? Sometimes there are bonuses offered. We may not need to entertain that if the demand is great. We know that there is a demand out there. So as I said, incentives include fast-track permitting. Simply allowing them by right would be number one. Number two, I'm sure a developer could buy scattered sites. These fit well, as I said, as we talked about, within the existing fabric of a neighborhood. So infill development would be perfect for this type of housing. And then thirdly, is there another type of program that we were considering in the initial stages?
I think broadly speaking, within the study, we are looking at what other jurisdictions are doing across the country, what they're doing well, what may not work for us here. So we're looking at what works best. And oftentimes to that point, incentives and reducing regulatory barriers produce more housing than any kind of requirement. And we want to ensure that this is market rate development that doesn't need robust government subsidies. That's not to say that they couldn't carry some to make a missing middle housing type deed restricted affordable housing, but we want to ensure that the market is producing these types to meet the demand. Regarding the first question about the zoning update, I am not sure of at what point those conversations were had, but we can get back to you on that with that information as well.
One more.
Oh, yeah, and it will. Yeah, James
Sorry,
might be.
My
able to
apologies
answer.
for the record. I'm James Hunt, Deputy Planning Director. As you all know, we went through an extensive process for that new zoning ordinance, right? So what happened back then? The intent of the new zoning ordinance, as much as possible, was to do a one-to-one transition from the prior ordinance into a new zoning ordinance. And so to be able to apply those different uses and zones together, that was the intent at the time. I believe the council knew that we would have to kind of come back and there would be opportunities to make improvements later down the road, which this is one of those, these are one of those improvements that we're having to look at. And it would take a longer period of time than the new zoning ordinance at that point in time, and a lot more engagement taking place. They really wanted to have a focus at this point in time on missing middle housing, what that looks like. So I want to do a great extensive report and review and analysis on this topic itself, understanding it was a hot topic around the country, as you all are aware of. So that was the intent at that point in time, was a true more one-to-one transition from the prior to the current zoning ordinance.
Thanks for that bit of history, James. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I just want to follow up on one other incentives that's non-monetary, our pre-approved plans, which a lot of jurisdictions around the country have provided for members of the public.
Thank you. That's all I have?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Mr. Hill.
Yes, just a quick question about, when I scanned your QR code, the page it took me to immediately popped up a white paper on ADUs.
Mm-hmm.
Could you talk about that a little bit more, where the county is in allowing or not allowing that, and where
Sure.
that fits in the middle housing?
Sure. Currently, they're not permitted here. Last year, as part of Governor Moore's housing package, one of the legislative bills is requiring all jurisdictions in the state to have a policy in place by October 1st of 2026 to permit ADUs throughout the state of Maryland. So currently the planning department is working on its own policy to permit ADUs in all parts of the county. So the white paper preceded that piece of legislation. It's more of a research topic that we looked at the time. We did do a little bit of a GIS analysis to look at where and the scale of detached units could be built throughout the county. But as you know, or as you will read in the white paper, detached ADUs are not the only type that are provided. They can be integrated into an existing home. They can be built in the basement or in the attic or as an addition. And some very old-fashioned ADU types are known as carriage houses, the apartments above the garages. So there are many forms of accessory dwelling units, and we hope to be bringing those to the county very soon.
Yes, thank you. I was just asked that by a senior resident today.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And I will add first, for the senior community, there's numerous case studies and examples of just the benefits of accessory dwelling units for the senior community. As we mentioned in the presentation, AARP is a very loud proponent of accessory dwelling units to serve seniors. So we are definitely keeping that community and that in mind as we coordinate with, Karen and myself is working on the housing work program, but then as well with the planning director's office and others to make sure that we're keeping those communities that need special attention in this research, we're keeping them in mind.
Thank you. Mr. Hernandez.
And thank you for bringing up Governor Moore's priority for affordable housing. In fact, we have a letter that we likely or we'll be discussing here in a few minutes about some of the properties that the state owns in our space. We would be happy to make so much more affordable housing, including down here where there's 16 luxury student apartments. If MNCPPC would allow us land use rights and zoning, well, we can talk about that.
Okay. We'll bring our legal department.
But we really can. But one of the questions that does come up, and I don't really know how to answer, but maybe you all can help when it comes to the missing middle.
Mm-hmm.
How do you choose what that missing middle looks like? You presented a number of different options of what the missing middle looks like, and what we've seen, at least in terms of affordable housing within our municipality, is similar to the high rises, the mid rises that you've seen. What is MNCPPC looking for, or anybody in the discussion for planning, when we're looking at a particular lot and saying, hey, this would be prime development space for duplexes or, multiplexes, instead of these, and I'll just be very frank, a lot of folks have kind of grown tired of it just because of the oversaturation.
Yeah, well, developers have their formula and, what pencils out in terms of their return on investment. And that's especially important, and John can speak further on this, when it's capital A affordable housing that's built with subsidies or income restrictions come along for the tenants of that. This is important to remember. It is attainable because it is market rate housing. Mm-hmm. So those choices that we've seen that appeared on the screen reflect the multitude of missing middle housing types that exist all across the country. And they reflect the local context, the materials that are available at the time, as well as the craftspeople that worked on those. So each type looks and feels a little bit differently depending upon its context, and we are assuming that people like that they want something that enhances the look of their community, that is designed well and thoughtfully and gracefully.
Yes.
So just one follow-up to that is, what recommendation would you all provide us? Because many of our residents I don't know if you know the makeup of College Park, but there's a lot of space where there's a lot of single-family homes, mm-hmm. right? And what would you recommend that we do from a strategic perspective to provide a space that allows for some of that diverse set of housing, while also leaving space for community and resident spaces, areas for them to enjoy in the nature of what the neighborhood currently looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. And there are, I think the diversity of type is the strength of missing middle housing, of where there are numerous types in their design factor in community space. A type, for example, just to give an example, are pocket neighborhoods, which are a series of cottages centered around a community green space. So the types themselves can provide those community spaces. I did want to go back to your first question regarding the development types and why in certain scenarios developers may favor those large-scale high-rises. And many times there's a lot of contributing factors. But one important one to mention is just the length of the development process and the cost of the pre-development process. Oftentimes developers bear the burden of that process without having any type of entitlement, which incentivizes them to maximize their buildable area, maximize the unit amounts, and just in order to recoup their margins.
Sure.
So if we're able to design a process that isn't so onerous to where a developer is overly incentivized to maximize their buildable potential, that could lend itself to more smaller scale developments where that developer is able to invest in those community spaces, invest in the building materials that are of higher quality, because they're not having to expend so much money on the initial part of it, which then incentivizes the back end where you see large-scale bulk construction. So easing the regulatory process could incentivize, building type that is more favored by the community, incorporates community character more than maybe what we're seeing.
I'd love to help with the easing of the regulatory process. I don't know if, I think that falls outside of like our abilities, but we'll do our best to mitigate that. But I know that you're going to have, it's likely that you'll speak to developers before we do. Just let them know that we have a suite of tools that we've built out within our economic development to bring in talent that we want to fit with our neighborhoods, to include that affordable,
That's great.
like,
That's great. We will.
sort of market.
Thank you for
Thank you.
offering that.
If I can add one more point, as well, we want to ensure that this initiative brings in talent from a multitude of other groups. So a critical member of this, this initiative are members of the faith-based organization and faith groups who oftentimes want to further their mission by providing high-quality housing options to their community, but lack either the capital or the expertise to be able to do that. So they're a critical partner in this, assessing county-owned land, publicly owned land, land that the state of Maryland owns, looking at any other site that we possibly can to bring that. But those nonprofit and faith-based groups are priority groups that we would hope would be interested in this new housing type.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So we have two more, Councilor Ray and then Councilor Rigg. Renee?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. I think this is not only an issue for Prince George's County and College Park, but it's a nationwide issue. I really am grateful that there's a lot of attention going into this and some thoughtful work being done in this. I know we joked about it with Councilmember Hernandez, but I hope you are hearing from municipalities that in Prince George's that we do want zoning authority so that we can move ahead on things like this. It's been something that we've wanted to do, and when things are happening, we can only ask and suggest for those kind of things. And so we would love to have that zoning authority, and I hope other municipalities are saying the same thing. I really appreciate the focus on the permitting side, the zoning side, seeing about ways to make that happen, to reduce costs and delays. I think that's a huge problem in general, and again, not just singling out our county, but across the country. That's your graph about how much has been built in the last year in the last few years is just so minimal, and that really, of course, is not meeting the supply that's needed. So focusing on that side, really important. But I really want to bring up several cautions. One is just around the ADUs. Our community is very unique in that so many of the houses, especially down here, are used for student rentals. Mm-hmm. They're owned by out-of-state LLCs, and they're just a cash box. And the last thing we want is ADUs on each of these college student rentals so that they can cram more students in and just make so much more money and just keep charging out the wazoo for students. So, I want to make sure that that's reflected in this, especially if that's a huge concern here in College Park. In general, I think it's really great for owner-occupied spaces, et cetera, to have ADUs, and especially for seniors. But that's a very unique problem. And if ADUs were allowed tomorrow, we'd see all these student housing rentals, plop them as in their backyards, and we'd have even more issues. So I want to bring that up. The other piece is the main issue that I would take. I mean, developers, of course, are always going to be happy to make 20% or whatever on anything, mm-hmm. right? And the developers need their funds. The lenders will need their cut. The builders, will need their cut. And so, if there are no, we know that if they are for-profit developers, I mean, I think that you mentioned some not-for-profit partners, but if they're for-profit, we know that their mission is to make money. That is their specific goal. So I think it's a pipe dream thinking that they will do anything that they don't have to do in order to not make as much money. I mean, I think they're still going to want to build as high and as dense as they can because that will bring the most returns. I think relying on them, to solve the issue, I think is a big mistake. I think we need to look at more public housing options. We need to think about those pieces to make sure that there's other interests, and whether that's through different kinds of regulations. I think that's an important. I'm a fan of inclusionary zoning, which we don't have in this county. But I think the market has a big role to play, but it's not going to solve this issue without very specific, parameters. And I'm looking for ways that the public housing, can be more of a factor here in our county, but in our state, in the United States in general, because other industrialized nations have a lot more public housing, and it suits their populations. It would suit our population too. I know it costs a lot of money then, but I want to make sure that that's reflected too in this conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Those are comments, I believe, not a question necessarily. Thank you, Mr. Rigg.
Thanks. Two questions. I don't know how quick they are. I will make them quickly. Your response may be slightly longer. The first is, I'm sure you're familiar with the Council of Governments regional housing targets, also known as the 75-75-75 plan. I was one of our nominees, one of our appointees to the COG board when those were a live item. And I'm wondering sort of how this discussion of missing middle housing, and for that matter ADUs, figure into those housing targets, and also how relevant those targets are given changed assumptions about demand in the macroeconomic picture in the DC region. So that's question one. And then question two is, in regions that have successfully adopted more widespread missing middle housing than, say, Prince George's County, Maryland, or even the DMV, how have they overcome the natural status quo bias that is inherent? I think as policymakers, we all say, we get it, we totally are on board with the idea of missing middle housing, but then when you talk to Mrs. Jones down the street, she's like, I just want houses, right? Like, I don't want townhouses in my house, and I don't want to convert these houses into triplexes and duplexes, because then there'll be no place to park on my street, and my kids will be crowded out of the school. So feel free to answer those in any manner or in any order that you see fit. But thanks for the consideration.
We can take the Washcog question. A disappointing response to the question regarding macroeconomic trends. It's too soon to tell. As a component of the study, we are undertaking a real estate and market analysis to look at those particular things. The impact of reductions in the federal workforce and those implications on the housing market, it's just simply too soon to tell on what that impact will look like. With regards to the future of housing growth, should these types be allowed in the county?
And a follow-up, sorry. Sorry for interrupting, I apologize. I think it's fair to acknowledge that Prince George's County is a disproportionately large amount of the affordable housing in the DMV. Is that your assessment as well? And if so, are other, I'm always concerned whether other DMV governments are doing their fair share, because we're doing more than our fair share.
Absolutely. So I think from a regional perspective, Prince George's County may see a greater level of housing affordability when compared to other jurisdictions in the region. The thing that where that logic may falter is for county residents, that housing may still not be affordable. To a resident of another jurisdiction that has a higher income, a housing unit in Prince George's County may be more affordable, but to a resident of Prince George's County, what we're seeing is that may not be the case. So I think within the study, we are looking at how this initiative can directly improve the housing outcomes with regards to attainability for county residents themselves. I hope that responded to the question regarding affordability.
In terms of lifting up those voices who may need certain types of housing at different types of their lives, we've started on some stakeholder focus group interviews with our consultants, and we've heard things like, my kids can't afford to come back to the county. I can't afford to retire here. I can't afford to make a choice between Do I live where I work and not be able to afford it, or do I live outside the metropolitan area and commute in every day? Those all have costs and implications unique to those individuals. So I think that, to your point, as we move through this process, we love to hear from individuals who have various housing needs and what that could mean in terms of providing those types of housing to them. For example, when a group of another planners was giving an open house around this topic prior to the study that we were involved in, there was a gentleman who was vehemently against any new types of housing in his neighborhood. And he kind of drowned out the voice of an older lady who said, he said, who would want this? And she said, I would. I have a second floor. I would love to be able to rent it to a student who could help with cutting the lawn or shoveling the snow in exchange for some rent. Or my sister could come and live with me and help me as we age in place together. So I think, to your point, it's great to hear those voices and lift them up so that we all get a better understanding of not only what our housing needs are, but how housing can benefit at those of us at various stages in our life.
Well, thank you. And I think that is the central challenge.
Yeah.
As somebody who will soon be stepping down from this dais, I strongly believe that making missing middle housing politically popular is maybe the most important thing that we as policymakers and as leaders can do. Elevate those voices of people who are not able to find that housing and really humanize it, because otherwise they will be drowned out in just the manner that you described. The people who are extremely concerned about changes in their community and impacts that implementation of missing middle housing could have in the city of College Park will overwhelm those voices otherwise.
Yeah.
So we have to figure out ways to talk about that.
We are living with the consequences of maintaining that status quo, unfortunately.
Thank you. I see Ms. Mitchell. Please go ahead.
I want to say, first of all, thank you for your presentation. Very informative. I know prior to the meeting we spoke, we do have an affordable housing task force. And as you talked about some of the initiatives, as my council member Whitney colleague, you talked about how to incentivize developers. I would love if you could come speak to our committee, the Affordable Housing Committee, about this this presentation, but also to include some of our key developers who come to us. Many of them are not aware that we are looking for affordable workforce development housing, and to have them there in the room to hear what our vision is to move forward with the county will be, I would say, a very striking initiative, because then they can start understanding that not only just here in College Park, other municipalities are looking to do the same. And I just think that this would be something different, thinking out of the box. But we have to get the developers to the table for them to understand it.
We'd be happy to help.
Needs have changed, and this is something that's going to be for the future. So thank
We'll
you.
be in touch.
Thank you. That's very, I know we have a staff liaison, and they work with the Affordable Housing Task Force, so I'm sure they will make sure you can come and visit. All right. Councilmember Mackey, and then we have second bite.
So I just wanted to bring to your attention that unfortunately some people are starting to do this without the correct permits and going through the correct channels. So I think it's very important that this be regulated properly, because you're talking about a change in the infrastructure. A single-family house being converted into a 4 units puts more burden on all of the utilities, the schools, the roads, parking, and those kind of things. So that all needs to be addressed from the very beginning. And I think that my colleagues have all said that also, but it's very important that that there be some regulation that, for instance, where I live, the houses are they're nice size houses. They're built in the 60s, and when everything was big and spread out, and to transfer like all the houses on a street, that would just be too much. So there has to be some kind of regulation about that, and keeping the character of the neighborhood. I saw like some of the housing ideas. They look exactly like a house, but they're an apartment building with five units in them and 2 stories, just like a colonial would be or something. So it's not an easy subject, is it?
It is not.
It is.
It is not.
I think it's going to
it's fascinating,
take a lot of pounding out, and I'm sorry that it didn't happen before the zoning, because I went to a lot of those zoning meetings. But what happens is things change. And we have to be willing to change it. One of the things that I'm concerned about is, a house will sell for $600,000 in my neighborhood, for instance, and what kind of income, do you have to have
Exactly.
to have a house like that? And I'm getting older myself, and the idea of being able to have someone younger living with me, taking care of the snow and things like that is a plus, which I think that our seniors have said. So I just wanted to, just encourage you that I know that it's not an easy process, but to take into consideration everything that's been said today. My colleagues have said most of my thoughts, but I just wanted to add to it. Thank you.
Well, we really appreciate your insight and thoughts, and we'll definitely bring them forward with us. So thanks again.
Thank you. We have a second bite, Dr. Esters. Okay, 2 quick second bites.
Okay.
So thank you again. I wanted to say something to my colleagues. I am also someone who's stepping down from this dais, but as we have prioritized other types of housing, I think that this body needs to prioritize missing middle. So I wanted to say that on the record. The other thing that I wanted to share is that your presentation is timely. Last week, we had a presentation regarding a really exciting project in the Lakeland community that will be a partnership between the Community Preservation Trust, as well as Habitat for Humanity and the Civic Association and the Lakeland Heritage Project. And as I think about that project, I think it could very well be a pilot within the community for missing middle, and could serve as sort of this beacon for folks to see what it could look like, what it will mean to the community, and how it will add to it. So just wanted to share that.
Thank you for offering that. That's an excellent idea, and we'd like to be there. We would. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yeah, just want to make a quick note, since inclusionary zoning was mentioned earlier, that inclusionary zoning is already done in Montgomery County, but if it is done in Prince George's County at some point, I would hope that it be done in a different way that it's been done in Montgomery County. I believe the way it works in Montgomery County is an apartment building in, say, Bethesda can provide all of their affordable units in a building in Silver Spring or somewhere else. And I completely disagree with that approach. And I think inclusionary should be inclusionary within the building, and you should know who needs affordable housing and who doesn't, and we need to all live together. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So that's all we have. I think, our student liaison has.
Thank you for being here with us today. Actually, this past summer, I was working for Montgomery Planning, so the planning in Montgomery County, and I'm familiar with some of the work you guys have done in the development pipeline for PG County.
Yeah.
My question is regarding, especially for this topic, it's a contentious topic in different counties across Maryland as a whole and other states as well. Have there been public listening sessions, and how has the reaction of the public been regarding this issue? As I know it's something that's been very important and crucial when creating this sort of policy and gaining that kind of insight.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna. I was gonna say, the way in which the department, I think, has brought this topic forward is, I think it was mentioned by one of the council members, of humanizing the topic and making sure that we discuss this topic less in terms of these regulatory approaches and things, but on how this can impact people's lives. How can this be a housing option for people's children, opportunities to downsize, decreasing tax burden. So those opportunities for some kind of listening sessions. We've conducted focus groups as a part of this, but I know that it is a priority of our work to make sure that this is a transparent and open process. And as we move forward with the initiative, we will absolutely be having more public engagement around these deliverables when they're prepared. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you all. So we very thoughtful conversation. Appreciate again for your work, and we'll make sure that the survey you put together that is something that we all participate, and that's been pushed to the community, and we have a communication department, so they can probably push it as part of the weekly bulletin.
Well,
that's
again,
one thing, and also thank you for offering help with the affordable housing task force meetings.
Yeah,
maybe they'll be really appreciating.
Well, it was a
the
pleasure
process.
to be here and talk with you today. Learned a lot, and again, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Really appreciate
Thank you
it.
so much. All right. We have 25G1. No, another presentation. It's a presentation and discussion of the 2025 permit fees analysis conducted by the Institute for Building Technology and Safety, IBTS. And this will be taken by our Director of Public Services, Mr. Coker. I think I saw him before. Here you go. How could I miss him? Mr. Coker, the floor is yours.
How I can start this work?
I know you're a big fan of IBTS.
Does this work? Or
Yes, this is one. You can talk.
Okay. All right. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, and residents of College Park. I just want to give a brief context to this presentation. And I do believe that there is a cover memo that was supplied with the package. And this came as a forward item from our 7th of October agenda. The topic beforehand is presentation and discussion of 2025 permit fee analysis conducted by Institute for Building Technology and Safety. Just to give a context, I think previously in 2020, IBT has done a very detailed report, but the context of that report was related to if we have a land use authority within our city, as right now it is with the DPI or with Prince George's County. The context of that report was just with that. Last year when I was hired, one of the tasks in consultation with the city manager was to discuss, what is the present status in terms of fees, penalties that exist, and I have had started the discussions. In earlier 2024, it was determined that city might benefit from a fee structure analysis and task IBTS with an update of 2021 study with emphasis on building permit fees to evaluate revenue for various types of construction and permit activities. It was agreed that we will be doing a comparison with the closest cities that exist here, and we look towards them to making sure that we are consistent and fair in the regional sense. They are like Bowie, Hartsville, and City of Laurel. While IBTS found that city's fee structure as it relates to the rental units did not require any changes, they did identify several fee categories that we wish to adjust or add to the city's code. The categories included those fees charged in Chapter 129 for amusement devices, alcohol licenses, vendor and solicitor licenses, and temporary business licenses. as well as the fees under the Chapter 144 in particular context with missed permit-related inspections and re-inspections categories. The review also identified existing fees in the city's code that had been consistently applied and have already increased revenues under processing of right-of-way permits. As far as the present process is concerned, we just do application reviews for building permits in the city, and we make sure that it meets in general sense with the city code as well as the building codes, along with any of the stipulation that may exist in city confines or any, restrictions that come from MNC, PPC, and other zoning-related enforcement requirements to those applications. Having said that, there was also another opportunity that related with the special events related with parades. As far as that process goes, that was also discussed during the context of this particular specific study. Having said that, I would like to give opportunity at this time to our consultant, Paul Hencher. He's Principal Technical Officer with IBTS. That's the organization that we have had previous relationship in terms of getting similar studies done. Having said that, please go ahead, Paul.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Paul Hancher. I'm here with the Institute for Building Technology and Safety. I'm speaking on behalf of the study's primary author, Chris Miller. Chris Miller is with your city manager, Mr. Young, at the ICMA conference, I believe, on his way back. Otherwise, he would have been here in person to speak to us. I'm an engineer by education and license. I'm a building official by experience and certification. We've supported Jatinder and the city, as we have with other cities and jurisdictions, with similar studies, understanding that what's being done on a routine basis is comparable to what's being done outside of your jurisdiction, what's being done by neighboring jurisdictions in particular, and to see if there are opportunities to make change for the betterment of the community, for the betterment of the citizens. Are we sharing the presentation that I see here? Thank you. IBTS is a nonprofit. We're a professional service organization with a mission to create safer, stronger, and more resilient and thriving communities. We were set up this way 50 years ago, and we've existed with that purpose solely in mind. So it's with that approach, with that mission, that we undertook the study that College Park was looking for us to support. We worked closely with city staff, Jatinder and his staff, to look at and understand what is the expectation, what is it that we want to look at. We compared the city's fees with regard to building and permitting with those of neighboring communities. Prince George's County, which provides much of the service in the permitting area, Rockville, Tacoma Park, Bowie, Laurel, and Hyattsville. The purpose was to ensure equity, cost recovery, and competitiveness. College Park would want to see that what was being done matches what's being done elsewhere, and if there are opportunities to provide better service at less cost, or service that's more directly paid for by the people that are requesting that service, they wanted to be aware of that. There were 4 tasks. Review the existing permitting fee and structure, conduct the detailed fee analysis, perform a comparative analysis to identify discrepancies, if any, and then to conduct a workload and cost analysis. Our task was focused to speak to tasks 1, 2, and 3. Construction permits. The fee structures vary. What this essentially says is that there's a cost of doing business, and that fee, that cost can be done in many different ways. Prince George's County, for the most part, bases those fees on a square footage with a flat or per square foot cost options. Rockville may have a square foot cost, but separately calculated mechanical, electrical, and plumbing permits. There are different ways to come to the cost of delivering service. The bottom line is that there's a total cost to deliver service for permits. One of the positive things that came from this study is that for the great majority of the permits, fees, and services that are provided, it's very comparable to what neighboring jurisdictions, including Prince George's County, is delivering. There were some exceptions, and we'll talk about those here in a slide or two. Rental unit fee, College Park structure is approximate, requires no adjustment. Potential areas or updates of the 30 fees that were reviewed, there were 3 that may merit further review or consideration as to what the city would choose to do with them. This was a typical, and I don't know the details of that, but it's in the report. It looked at permits associated with a house, and maybe it was a single-family dwelling. But as you see with the 6 bullets here, you see that the fees are very comparable across the different jurisdictions. This next table talks about non-construction fee review. And it's a summary of those things that some jurisdictions may look at and say, this is a citizen service, and the citizens that pay taxes have expectations of services at certain levels. I'll take, for example, special events or parades, and we see that College Park either doesn't have a fee or charges a very nominal fee for that. The question can always be, does the cost of providing that service, should that cost be passed on in terms of a fee for closing a street to do a parade or to do a block party, or should that be an expected service that the government provides as part of a citizen paying taxes to deliver that? Again, we see some opportunity, Laurel being the most unique or most different in this case, where there are fees associated with some things that College Park either does not provide a specific fee for or charges a significantly less fee for. But again, it comes down to what does the city intend to deliver in terms of service to its citizens, and how is that service paid for? This next slide talks about some of those differences. It talks about the rental licensing program. There are multiple steps in that. The comparison showed that in 3 areas, permit prices charged by the city were different than permit fees charged by neighboring jurisdictions. And those 3 areas are fraternities and sororities, hotels and motels, and commercial. If we look at the table below, the table does this. It took from what Jatinder and team provided in terms of level of effort to support delivery of services in terms of man hours. It put an estimated cost per hour of those services, and it came up with a total cost of delivering services. And as we see on the far right column, the fiscal impact in most cases is neutral, in that the cost is either equal to or slightly different from those costs from neighboring jurisdictions. In 3 cases, it talked about negative, where the city today chooses to charge less for delivery of those services than maybe what it cost in terms of man hours and level of effort to deliver on those services. Again, those areas or opportunities to look at would be fraternities and sororities, hotels and motels, and commercial permits. Options for future fee models. College Park today looks at and uses the value of construction. It is scalable. What that says is that as cost of materials go up, cost of construction goes up, and if we charge a permit based on value of construction, it will age well, whereas some of the other models may have to be looked at on a periodic basis and changed. And last slide talks about some conclusions. Fees regionally aligned and equitable was the high point of the study. There was effort in looking at not only maybe 30 line items worth of fees, but how one jurisdiction called something completely different in another jurisdiction. So it was not a line-by-line assessment, but a delivery of service by service assessment. Adjustments can improve revenue and fairness, and again, it's a conscious decision as to who pays for delivery of the services. And balance accessibility with cost recovery. Again, there may be services that the city wants to provide as part of a good neighbor, a good citizen service, as opposed to charging a specific dollar per activity in order to recoup total cost.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's very helpful. So looks like you have some recommendations, but in kind of high level. But are you making recommendations on the actual fee structures, any proposed fee structures? Probably not. That's not within the scope of.
That was not within this scope.
Okay, that's Mr. Jatinder Coker probably bringing this up during budget session.
Yeah, I think I would like to say, I think we went into detail a particular long table for reinspection. There are opportunities there where we need to definitely go deeper. And maybe there are I think the way I look at it, our services should be transparent, fair, consistent, regionally across. But there are 3 opportunities where we have negative, fiscal impact. We definitely need to make sure that we are evening out as far as our operational costs are concerned. All these 3 locations are very critical to us. I think sorority, fraternity homes, they are very important for us as far as housing needs for our biggest customer, which is University of Maryland. We want to make sure that they are done in an equitable manner, but there are opportunities there. We can go deeper into that and bring some exact amounts or for deeper consideration for the body here, but that is those are the only opportunities that we have. I also want to add, I think the city manager has tasked us also to create a formal process for special events and parades and things like that. We do not have any structure at this time. They are done in an ad hoc manner based on what the need is, and we all huddle together and kind of do it, but we don't charge anybody anything, with the exception of, I think, my peer here, Yvette. She does the renting of city facilities and things like that. But on all of that, we work as a team on ad hoc basis and try to provide the best services we can. But pretty soon, hopefully in the beginning of next year, we'll be bringing back that process with a complete business process and a complete, form details and things like that, and make it a totally formal process. And that piece is also going to be brought first to the council as far as the fees are concerned. But in this, we just wanted to make sure that there are bits and pieces of this study that we are already working on, and we are ahead of the curve here. I'll stop at that.
You answered my question. Thank you so much. All right, let me see. Looks like everyone is happy with your report. You did a fantastic job. Thank you. Let's work on it, and I see that there are quite a few opportunities in the futures to work on some of the recommendations you made.
Thank you.
Certainly.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Mr. Coker. Keep up the good work. All right, so we are done with the presentations. Now we will go into the action items. I think we'll start with the one consent agenda item, which was moved to action, which is 25G111. Is there someone from a staff side? Mr. Young, you raised your hand. Please go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Yes, this is an item that was approved for consideration at the last council meeting. Councilmember Hernandez had asked for the council to consider a letter to Governor Moore to identify the property located at 2829 Rhode Island Avenue as a potential property for either senior or workforce or affordable housing based on the governor's new initiative. We've included a sample letter in the packet, but I believe there a few council members may have some additional things they want to see in the letter.
Thank you. I know Mr. Hugh wants to have a discussion, but before that, I'd like to give the opportunity to Mr. Hernandez, who was the one who made the request.
Yeah, the only correction to the city manager's address is the 9829. I think he said 2829, or if it was broken.
Oh, okay.
So it's 9829. I had the address in front of me, now it's gone. Rhode Island Avenue. Yes, and it's a Maryland state property.
Certainly. Thank you. Mr. Hugh?
Yes, I just wanted to have the letter reflect that we would prefer a mixed-use type development that would include space for community services. It's been a long-time conversation of the community that they would have preferred to see, ideally, that space being utilized by the city to provide community services such as a tool library, a fix-it lab, a pollinator or seed catalog, native seed catalog, art space, a incubator for small businesses, like a pop-up space sort of thing. All these uses have been talked about, the potential of being utilized in that space, and realizing that the best advantages of us moving forward with having this space revitalized is through the governor's affordable housing priorities. But in doing that, I think it'd be a missed opportunity if we don't expressly say in this letter that we would prefer to see a mixed-use sort of development there when it happens, and
So,
that it would include community service space.
Thank you. Before I give it to Mr. Hernandez, by mixed use, you mean in addition to governor's executive orders targeting affordable housing, you also want to see some other community amenities be added to the development?
Well, at least a space within that that is. So with a mixed-use space, you would have additional retail to what is an existing shopping center.
Right.
And within that space, there's just a certain lack of community spaces and spaces to house community programs. Other than right now, we have senior and youth and family services in our city-owned buildings in North College Park, but there are other services that nearby communities like Greenbelt offer to their residents that it would be ideal to offer here in College Park. And, in order to come to some kind of compromise of the use of that space, I think it would be important to incorporate a mixed-use space. And within that space, possibly a community services space.
Certainly, yeah. Without going into all the details about what could be the community amenity, might be some of the things you mentioned, but the community might get back to us with different ideas. But I think what I'm getting from you, would like to see some community amenity added to the affordable housing project if it goes through.
And if you could rewrite the letter to reflect that.
Certainly. All right, Mr. Hernandez?
I just want to be clear that we're in the very nascent beginning stages of just opening a channel of discussion with the state of Maryland. This property has been vacant within the community for the past maybe 6 years. And the executive order of Governor Moore allows us the vehicle to broach the conversation. The letter itself is designed to break through some of the red tape through the bureaucracy and prioritize a conversation about this space. I've seen a lot of concerns from residents regarding parking, regarding what's going to be within the facility. Those are all meaningful concerns that we will continue to engage with the community. One of the offices that will be in charge of this, the Secretary Jake Day, who was here in this chambers just a few weeks ago, and actually in District 1, maybe 2. Davis Hall is always unsure. Yes, but he's the Secretary for Department of Housing and Community Development. He welcomed this, right? Like, because we're just putting out we're reaching out to the state of Maryland to ask, how do we revitalize this community? If all we want to do is just include exploring, affordable senior mixed-use housing, I mean, that's absolutely okay. But we shouldn't really get bogged in the details at this phase of the discussion, because what's going to happen is we're going to be nitpicking something that might not happen for the next 3, 4, 10, 15, 20 years. I mean, obviously, we never know. The idea about this executive order is for it to cut through the red tape and help address the housing crisis right now. So I'm hopeful that we can move forward, and I ask my colleagues to support.
Thank you. I see Ms. Mitchell. Sorry, Dr. Astor, did you raise your hand before? Please go ahead.
Go ahead with you. Go with your
You go ahead, please.
I just wonder, too, if this is a request for an evaluation of the property. Is this what this is? The letter requests an evaluation?
It is to explore the viability of this particular property being fitting within this program. This executive order came out very early in this year, so they don't really have any projects that have developed in this that they've developed in this space. So there's space.
So it sounds like an assessment.
Yes,
is what
ma'am.
I'm hearing.
Yeah.
So I would be concerned if we provide too much detail about what else we'd like to put here if we're asking for an assessment. Those ideas that, Alan, that you shared, I think can certainly be explored, but I don't think for the purposes of this and the request for an assessment we should include all of those details.
Okay. So there are too many.
I still feel that we should. I'm just responding to this. I still think that we should say mixed use in it, because it doesn't say mixed use.
Sorry, say again.
Mr. Mayor, Councilman Hugh wants to have the wording definitively put in the letter saying mixed use.
Yes.
And to my councilman colleague, Mr. Hugh, we're sending a letter to start the conversation regarding the possibility of this location. If we get so into the weeds that we miss opportunities to bring ourselves to the table to have a conversation for things that could be viable and be a benefit to us and the community. This is just the start. If Secretary Day and the other deputy directors who see this letter as something that is of interest to them, then we can continue the conversation afterwards about what else could come later. But I think let's get the letter to them to show interest. Let's get the letter to them to show that we want to be collaborative and partner, especially under Governor Moore's executive orders, to see what can be done, and then bring everything else in the kitchen sink you want afterwards, after we get blessed. But let's start the conversation.
Thank you. Who else raised hand? Anybody else? Ms. Mack? Sorry, Mr. Ray.
Well, maybe it's a point of order. Is Councilmember Hugh requesting an amendment? And if so, then we would need a second. Otherwise, I think this is what we have to vote on, right?
Yeah, it's basically he wants to add a blurb.
Isn't he making a motion?
Yes, I'm making a motion to amend this letter to reflect mixed use also as a request of the type of housing that we want to see there. Because I think it's a missed opportunity if it's just affordable housing without mixed use.
All right, so that's your motion?
Yes.
Okay, so there's motion has been moved. Is there any second on that?
You just want to add the word mixed use, that's it?
Somewhere, so you're asking staff to add that language somewhere? in
No,
there?
I'm just making sure that that's all he wants.
Yes.
Second.
All right. Further comments? Probably not. All right. So this is an action item. This is an action item. There will be opportunity for coming back. Is this related to the motion?
I just have a question for Mr. Hugh. That's it. I can wait.
Okay. All right, so this is an action item. I need to go to the audience if anyone has anything to speak on this motion. I don't see any. Is there any one online? I don't see. Let's come back. So let's talk about that now. Mr. Ray.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor. I'm sorry, my colleagues. Maybe it's late in the night. Point of order. Are we going to let Councilman Ranker have his point of discussion right now?
No. So before we take the vote, we can.
No, I didn't say a vote. I said point of discussion. Let him have the point.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking him.
Okay.
I'm giving him. I asked him. Please go ahead.
Oh, I support the intent for us, if this would move forward, to think about mixed use, but I don't find it imperative or maybe even helpful to include it in the initial letter. So I will be voting against the amendment.
You'll be voting against it. Okay. Anyone else wants to speak? Okay. Ms. Mackey.
So, so you want to put it on page 008 where you're saying affordable workforce housing, comma, senior housing, comma, mixed-use housing? Is that how you want it to read?
No.
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 Housing plus mixed use.
Yeah, we need specifics.
Okay, so, yeah, so, because I don't know where you're saying, and I'm a little like, where are you saying that you want this added?
Do you have any specific preference, Mr. Hill, on the letter?
Well, nowhere in this letter does it mention mixed-use development. So, just to have housing, in the space that it is, I feel if we don't say mixed use, it could be
We shouldn't even have
missed.
Mr. Young, I think you and Mr. Hugh talked about some of the opportunities of the mixed use. Do you have any suggestions? Can you help?
Yeah, well, I'll chime in a little bit here. So there's a reason why we didn't add that particular type language in. It is a very preliminary letter to open up the discussions with the state. It is a property that they owned. We wanted to identify it, that we thought there would be interest in potentially identifying this particular property for them, simply because we knew that they had moved out their existing staff out of that location, and we were helping them to try and relocate in some of our other office facilities. And also having known that, at the other end of this particular shopping center, we have the Maryland Park and Planning's community center being built there. I think we're, from a professional standpoint, I understand what Mr. Hugh is asking for. I just think it's a very premature at this moment to include that level of detail and get into that level of specifics for a number of reasons. We haven't funded any of those programs like the other localities have. We don't know if the state's even willing or able to move forward with a housing project on this site. And I always want to make sure that we as a city are putting our best effort forward and allowing as many options to be considered. One of the disadvantages of adding mixed use, potentially another floor on this particular property, would mean that we potentially the developer would either have to go higher in the project to be able to place additional units there. So having an understanding of that particular neighborhood, we do have some height limitations probably that the council will want to be considering. And by saying in there very specifically that it has to be mixed use, I don't think it's a good idea, and I've told Councilman Hugh that. Now, if it's a matter of just ask them to consider it as a possibility, I'm open to that. I think that would be fair.
Yeah, so the question I had, if the council as a body wants to have that language in, it can help in crafting the language. But looks like your personal recommendation is against it. Yes.
So, Mr. Mayor, may I ask for Councilman Hugh to I'm sorry, Mr. Young, go ahead.
No, I'm having a little bit of a delay on my end.
Yeah.
I talked to Mr. Hugh. I have no issues with if the council is comfortable crafting some language that would offer for a consideration of mixed use as an option. But I did tell him that I did not believe that it would be a good idea to almost mandate it in the letter.
Thank you. Your personal recommendation is against it, but you can add the language if the council wishes so. All right. Anyone else wants to speak on this item before I take the vote?
Point of order, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick question. We can vote on the amendment as a body. Whichever way it goes, we still vote on the action to move the letter today, though.
Well,
right?
point of order. We never had a motion introduced in the first place. We're amending a non-existing motion.
Well, that's fun. Allow me to make a motion.
Yeah. It was motion to add.
I thought
To amend the motion, but we never made the underlying motion.
To amend the motion, to add the word,
Hold on. Less one person.
It was amended by Allen, seconded by Councilmember Hernandez, to add the word mixed use.
So what happens if that motion fails?
We will, that is this is a motion to amend it, so you can vote on the actual letter itself.
But what Mr. Rigg is saying, that motion hasn't been moved, the original motion.
The original motion was moved and was not second. The motion was moved but was not second.
The original motion was never moved, actually. Right, Mr. Rigg?
The original motion there was never an original motion. It was just an amended motion by Councilmember Hugh, seconded by Hernandez.
I think what we're dealing with is
an amendment.
we're dealing with a motion to move a letter that is altered from what is in the package. I think that is the motion that's on the table. So it's not an amendment. Not technically speaking. I don't want to confuse things. You could amend the motion that's on the table. Is that right? Okay.
Correct.
So the path forward could be have another motion to amend so that we can go back to the original motion. That's one way of doing it.
Or you could defeat the underlying motion and then make a second motion that aligns with the original letter.
Let's start with the new motion as is in the packet. All right, let's take. So everyone understand what it's going to do. We're going to vote on the motion that is on the table, which has the amended language rather, and then if it fails, then we'll entertain another motion, which will be as is in the packet. Everyone is on the same page? All right, thank you. Anyone else wants to speak before I take the motion on the table? Okay. Do you need a roll call? Okay, I see a request. Mr. Hernandez?
No.
Mr. Hugh?
Yes.
Dr. Esters?
No.
Ms. Whitney?
No.
And Ms. Mitchell?
No.
Ms. Mackey?
No.
Mr. Ranker?
No.
And Mr. Rigg?
No.
All right, so motion fails with 7 rather 1 to 7. Unless I will entertain a motion, probably as in the packet. Yeah. So there is in the red packet, red folder, there's a motion sheet. It's a 25G111. See that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, I move to authorize mayor to sign a letter on behalf of the mayor and council expressing interest in having the property located at 9829 Rhode Island Avenue be evaluated and considered as a site for development for affordable workforce or senior housing in College Park.
Second.
Further comment, Mr. Hernandez?
No, I think what we highlighted here today is there's a lot of different perspectives, and I welcome every perspective. I think that I understand what my colleague wants, and I just hope that he understands that we're going to continue to work together with the residents. We need to get off the ground first. So we're going to welcome those inputs because this might fail at launch. We have no idea where this is going, right? It's mostly just us trying to look at some of the problems that we have in some of our neighborhoods and take advantage of the vehicles presented as opportunities for growth moving forward.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's go to the audience. Mr. Williams, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Mr. Hernandez, can you repeat the address?
Yes, 9829 Rhode Island Avenue.
It's not 9828. It's 9829.
I think so.
I know so, but I just wanted, I heard you say 28, and I just wanted to make sure of that. You know that it's 9829.
9829.
Yes, sir. I have a picture of it for you, so if you need it.
All right.
Okay.
Yes, 9829. I have a picture of it looking in front of it, and
Right. Yeah.
I see it. It says 9829. Thank
Very
you.
good. Okay.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I wanted. Thanks.
Yeah. So there is a minor, I don't think it's a substantial change. My name has an S in the middle, which if a staff could take it out, it's very minor. And can we also add 21st delegation and the county council members' office in there? This is also non-substantiated, so I don't think we need an amendment there. Thank you. Let's go to the audience. If anyone wants to speak on this item, you have all the 3 minutes. I don't see anyone online. Please, let's come back. Anyone wants us to speak before we take the vote? Do you need a roll call? Mr. Hugh?
No.
No, okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? The motion is approved, so 8-0. Thank you. We have the letter. Thank you, staff, for putting this together. And this is just beginning of a long process, hopefully not very long. All right, so we're done with the action item 25G111. Let's go to action item 25015, this introduction. Thank you, Ms. Bader and Mr. Nunes. Thank you for your patience. You've been patiently waiting. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, we're asking Council to introduce an ordinance to amend the city code to increase the front yard fence height from 3 feet to 4 feet. And I'm going to go really low tech here. We're not going to do a PowerPoint. I'm doing visual aids.
I love it. Use the mic, please, so you can still see it.
This
Yeah.
is 3 feet, and then this makes it 4 feet. So I'm gonna stand in front so everyone can see it.
Yeah.
You lost me on that one. Can you run that through again?
And then as an added
Love
bonus,
it.
I am exactly 5 feet. Exactly 5 feet 0. So this is the visual.
And Mr. Ranker is 6 feet. There you go.
This is my favorite presentation.
Director Bader, are you aware that they're not making 12-inch rulers any longer?
Oh, okay.
Very entertaining.
Okay. And then we have 4 reasons for doing this. One, it's a safety concern that most of the people that want a front yard fence, it's to enclose their pets like dogs, and also it doesn't seem to balance to say enclose your child, but keep the child safe, okay? And when we were doing research on it, the acceptable standard really is 4 feet. And that's what we found, that 52% of the people that were requesting fence variances was to go from 3 feet to 4 feet because they had a dog or they had young children and they were requesting that 1 foot. Reason number 2 is consistency. So the city regulations 3 feet, the county regulations 4 feet. People go and get their fence permit. They're required to go to the county first. The county grants it, gives them the 4 feet, never says to them anything about the city of College Park. So they build the 4-foot fence. Then our code people come out there and say, well, you know, we only allow a 3-foot fence. And they're like, well, I got approval from the county. So this goes on all the time, and then they're like, what do I do now? And then we're like, well, you cut it down a foot or you go through a variance process. I mean, it's just terrible, and it reflects poorly on the city, you know, because then they're mad at the city. Like, the county told me I could, and now this person put a stop work. And so the third reason is efficiency, and reason 4 is equity, and both of those have to do with we're stressing these people out unnecessarily. You can see again the difference. It's not that great of a distance. I don't even know, or you know, if you drive by, if you would be able to visually see it's 3 or 4, but it's causing a big strain on the residents in the community because then they have to go through the variance process, and that takes a number of months because it goes to the APC and then it goes to the city council and. Okay, so we did bring this before the APC, and they voted, the Advisory Planning Commission, they voted unanimously to approve it. So what we're asking for you tonight is to just introduce this ordinance, and then it will go over to Yvette, and then she'll schedule a public hearing. I think it needs to wait 2 weeks, Yvette? Yes. 2 weeks, she'll schedule that, and then that night we'll have the public hearing, and then if you feel it's ready for action, then you could vote to amend it.
Ms. Hurtney?
Yes, I move to introduce 25015, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of College Park, amending city code chapter 87, building construction, section 87-23 fences, C, front yard fences, to increase the maximum allowable height of front yard fences from 3 feet to 4 feet, provided the fence does not interfere with the site visibility triangle.
Second.
All right, so this is an introduction. We're not take a vote on this, and there will be a public hearing.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your work trying to help our code. All right, so we have the final action items, 25G112, which is to discuss the agenda items for the 4 cities meeting in Byron Heights on November the 6th, 2025. Ms. Allen. You included some items the other cities will be discussing, correct?
Correct. The meeting will be held in the town of Berwyn Heights on Thursday, November 6th. They have a presentation already scheduled by OEM on stormwater management. They're also going to have several discussion items, stormwater management, rising energy costs, regional community engagement efforts, street sweeping program, code update practices, intercity coordination of emergencies, implementation of stop sign cameras.
It is too long. Normally, presentation itself takes an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ms. Mitchell.
Can we recommend they stick with maybe stormwater management and rising energy costs in addition to the presentation, these are a lot of items. And
And-
we will be there till 10:30 at night. Feel like
That's why I
another
wanted to
city
list
council
everything
meeting.
for you. So you
Yeah.
knew what
I
was
mean, I
there.
know what the comments.
Thank you. So you're asking to cut down the number of items
Yes.
instead of adding new items. Normally we
Yeah,
add
slow down,
items.
'cause, our colleagues do have other
Yeah,
things to do
yeah.
on a Thursday night, and
And this is
work-life
the
balance.
election week as well.
Councilmember Esther.
Sorry, Dr. Esters.
I am all for reducing the number of agenda items, but I think that it would be timely to talk about any efforts to assist federal workers within the communities. I don't know if my
Yeah, I
colleagues
was-
feel that that would be appropriate.
I was thinking along the line, but also the people who are affected by the shutdown-related SNAP and WIC benefits cut as well. Because many communities members will be impacted.
Do you want me to combine that all in one?
Yeah.
agenda
It's,
item?
it's related to
Federal
shut down
government
federal works.
resources,
Yeah.
So just do that one.
Yeah. So there is one recommendation to bring down the number of items. Also the other one is to add an item on the federal shutdown and related impact. Okay.
If I could just second the rising energy cost discussion, I think that's it's going to be a timely thing coming up with the winter. What we heard across all of social media, or most of social media last winter, was that the energy costs were impacting our residents. So I just think it's a timely conversation, given the fact that we're about to head into it. But yes, a lot of items come down.
Okay. Thank you. Go and have a
Do
conversation.
a motion to approve it, or just go ahead and send it over?
Yeah, this is an action item, so I need to approve it. Can I entertain a motion, Ms. Mitchell?
I move to approve the following items as the city's agenda for the Four Cities meeting to be held in Berwyn Heights on November 6, 2025. That will be the stormwater management, rising energy costs and resources for federal government workers.
Second.
Any further comments? No comments. And anyone wants to speak on this item from the audience? I don't see any virtual hands. Let's come back. Let's take the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion has been approved. Thank you, Ms. Allen, for your work. Don't have any work session. I haven't seen any request for status of future agenda items request. Any comments from the audience? We have a great audience in the room. 1, 2, 3? No? Okay, thank you. All right, let's come back to the dais, starting with Mr. Gregg.
Pass.
Okay, Mr. Ranker.
Pass.
Ms. Mackey.
Several of us got to go today to celebrate 100 plus housing helps grants with CP Cup and the city. So that was just a great experience. And I had a senior moment where I forgot to thank the Laurel Crocheting Club and other seniors that came out to help with the crocheting. Thank you.
Thank you. I saw that firsthand. You're really active. Ms. Mitchell.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Yeah, I echo Ms. Mackey's sentiment about today's event. That was a live and work project, and that 100 sale of the house using that program. That's wonderful. And Secretary Day was there as well. And it was nice to see him. I think we saw him twice in this month in College Park. That was wonderful. I also had an opportunity to speak at the GWRCC, it's a mouthful, last Thursday or Wednesday, I think. It was pretty well attended. I think about 300 people came. So there was an opportunity for me to brag about what College Park is doing in the areas of sustainability and clean energy. So I had a good time. Ms. Whitney.
An excellent segue for what I would like to say. Last night I attended what will be my last CBE meeting as a council member, Committee for Better Environment meeting, and I just wanted to take this moment to applaud that committee for its extensive work. It has done so much of what we're proud for, you know, when we accept these Sustainable Maryland Awards, and we're some of the top point getters in the state. And they've really pushed those efforts. Just in my time, the 4 years that I've been attending those meetings, they've helped push through the Better Bag Ordinance, storm drain murals, which we all appreciate walking around, trolley trail tree markers, and maps of that with educational signs that they're still working on, support of the permaculture garden, the electric lawn care rebate, work on a climate action plan, etc. So just wanted to applaud them and thank them for welcoming me.
Yes, thank you, and thank you for attending. Certainly, they're such a good group of people. Dr. Esters.
Yes, I wanted to take a moment to acknowledge city staff for their assistance with the fall cleanup on Saturday. It was a well-run machine. They do an outstanding job, and I think it's a wonderful benefit to the members of the community. But I wanted to acknowledge those people who work for the city, who come out to do the work from 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, and we appreciate them. Thank you.
Thank you. They always do a fantastic job. We have the best public works. Thank you. Mr. Hill.
Pass.
And Mr. Hernandez.
You know, I had the honor to sit in Councilmember Whitney's last CBE meeting, and the reason that they're so effective is because of the incredible leadership that they have there, but also Councilmember Whitney serves as just like an advocate, like, hey, you should probably do this way or like that way, and it's just tips to help like the processes move along. And I know a lot of people get to do that, so it's just great to see her lending her expertise and teasing out what may be to come in the future years when she decides to leave us.
She's not leaving.
From the dais.
She'll be added as a member.
I wanted to echo, I guess, I know I'm very critical sometimes of the partnership, but the College Park University Partnerships home owner live work play grant is $20,000 for anyone who for that's put towards closing costs. Right? That's a lot of money. And I mean, you know, they highlighted that many of the homes that they've been able to close on are in District 1. Mm-hmm. Yes, they did say that.
Most of them.
And they highlighted all these amazing things that are all located adjacent to the university, south of College Park. And so I encourage them, hey, why not build on this investment of all of these $20,000 grants and like start working on some of the projects of revitalizing some of the opportunities in North College Park. So, you know, ongoing discussions. But I was really happy to see so many residents. There was so many like North College Parkers in the room there, and Becky, who is a wonderful new addition to North College Park, to District 1 specifically, is moved here. Just like it's a pretty moving story real quick, but like she moved here because her job at the Department of Agriculture got moved because of all the federal government changes, and her office became the one in the Discovery District, and she was able to move and get $20,000 towards her closing costs so she could like drastically improve her quality of life. So thank you to the partnership for that. I want to say thank you to city staff for their assistance with Good Neighbor Day. In addition to the fall cleanup, they were also working double duty with Good Neighbor Day. Got to see them support a lot of the different projects across the city. We might want to make sure that in the future we don't like super tax our public works on one specific day. I don't know how we avoid that, but like maybe we'll work closely with the Office of Community Engagement. I had the opportunity to work at the Pregnancy Aid Center, which is located in College Park. It's an incredible resource for pregnant women and children that help with prenatal and post-birth resources, and just it's just an excellent reflection of what we have here in the community. So grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, all the comments. Mr. DeSpirito?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, we're very excited for the candidate forum tomorrow. Look forward to seeing everybody. And I want to wish everyone in College Park a happy Halloween. So.
Thank you. Ms. Buzma?
Pass.
Thank you. Mr. Young, any further comments?
Nothing further.
Thank you. Enjoy the conference. Bring some goodies. All right. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? We are adjourned. Good night, College Park.